All right. As I was saying, as long as you can remember the prefixes, you know the order that the conversions go in. And if you can remember that, you can remember how many of each piece makes up the piece before it. Because, so if you look, I'm just going to write down the prefixes again in no specific color because it just takes way too long, but not red. Nobody can stare at red all day long. Kilo, hecta, hecto, deca. Then there's the units, and that's all of them. Meter, liter, gram. Deci, centi, and milli. All right, now it's going to take 10 milliliter, 10 millisomethings, so 10 millimeters, 10 milliliters, 10 milligrams to equal one of these. And then it's going to take 10 of these to equal one of these. It's going to take 10 of these to equal one of these. So it's always going to take 10 of the smaller unit to equal the one behind it. And those aren't arcing as I'd hoped they would. My fingers aren't letting them. There we go. That's a good bounce. There we go. It's taking 10 of the smaller unit to equal the larger one. And it goes all the way across, just like it would take 10 meters to equal a decameter. It would take 10 decameters to equal a hectometer. It would take 10 hectometers to equal a kilometers. But sometimes we're going to have to go from milli to kilo. So if I'm looking at millimeters, and that's millimeter, and I have, let's say I have 5 of them, and I'm going all the way, so I want to find out how many I don't want that example, sorry. I have 5 kilometers. No, I have a certain number of millimeters. That's what I'm finding out. A certain number of millimeters. I want to figure out how many millimeters would there be in 5 kilometers. So, if it took 10 of these to equal one single one of these, and it took 10 of these to equal one single one of these, what are you doing to get from here to here? So if this is 1, and this were 10, to get from here to here, you are dividing by 10. Each time you are dividing by 10. Now, that's when you're going from a smaller to a larger. The amount gets smaller, but it actually doesn't, it still equals the same amount. You're finding an equivalent amount. It just takes more of a smaller unit to equal a larger unit. But if you're going from a larger unit, so you're going from 5 kilometers to get to a smaller unit, you actually are going to be multiplying by 10. So if I had $5 and I'm making it into dimes, there's going to be more dimes than there are dollar bills. However, it's still the same amount of money. It takes more of a smaller unit to equal that larger unit. I obviously don't play enough video games. My fingers cannot write with a mouse. Okay, so I started at kilometers, and I'm going to multiply by 10 until I get to millimeters. So 5 times 10 is 50, times 10 is 500, times another 10 is 5,000, times another 10 is and I lose track. So I'm going to put my 5 here, and I'm going to put a decimal place. And actually, when I'm multiplying by powers of 0, it is moving the decimal place to the right. And ironically, look which way the arrows are going. They are going to the right. And we are moving to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So we start at our decimal place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Put a decimal point, and I would fill in my zeros. Same thing happens when you're dividing by powers of 10. When you're dividing by powers of 10, you're actually able to move your decimal place to the left, the number of zeros you are moving. So if you had this conversion, (914) centimeters, and you need to figure out how many meters. You start at, I'm going to mark it. It is here. Centa is here. And I am going to the units because it just says meters. It doesn't have a prefix. So I'm going from here to here. So I'm moving right here, and I'm going to the left 2 places. I locate my decimal, and since I'm dividing by a power of 10, my number is going to get smaller by 2 decimal places right there. 9.14. Or I could have taken 914 and divided by 10 2 times, and that's what I did. I can try another one. .15 liters, and I want to figure out how many milliliters. The prefix is the lowercase m, so I have a lowercase m. The unit is the capital L, so I know it's liters. So I start at liters, so here I am. And I am going from liters to milliliters, so I'm going this way. 1, 2, 3. So I locate my decimal, here it is, and I moved to the right. 1, 2, 3. Or I multiplied by 10 3 different times. And my answer is 400, 4,000, 150. And that does not say that. There we go. Milliliters. Now, so you get home for your homework, and here it is. You have a blank page, and you are given a conversion. You are told to find 0.25 meters and to change it into, let's do grams. We haven't done grams. 0.25 grams, and you are to change it into centigrams. And that's all you're given. The very first thing you should do is write down your conversion prefixes so you know what you're changing from what to what. So I have King Henry dropped over dead converting metrics. And that's all I'm writing down. And then I can write that for every single problem. That way I can use it and not get confused from problem to problem. So for this problem, I'm going from the units, because it doesn't have a prefix, to the centigrams. So I'm going from here, 1, 2. So I'm taking my decimal and moving it the direction of the arrow to 25 centigrams.